Home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this is Tampa Stadium, site of tonight's Tampa AMA Supercross. As we get ready for heat number 1 in the 250 class of riders, let's look at some of the top stars. And there are some great ones lined up for this one, like Ron Lechien. They call him the Machine. He's out of El Cajon, California. Lechien on the Kawasaki. Then Johnny Osho O'Mara from Simi Valley, California, number 19, riding for Suzuki. And of course, the golden boy, Brock Glover, his final year of the contract, number 44, the Yamaha contract from El Cajon, California. And here we go, ready to start heat number 1. They're off. There's a start down that long straightaway, and it looks like Lechien being edged by Glover. Lechien goes the inside, but it is a golden boy Glover in front. Ray Somo in the second spot, number 29, but it is Glover in those bright pink JT leathers, and Somo's down. Ray Somo goes down like a ton of bricks, and Lechien goes into second. So it is the golden boy Brock Glover, the youngest AMA National Motocross champion, who gets dumped. And Glover goes down like an Idaho thermometer in January, and it goes Lechien in front. Ron Lechien comes through like Mike Tyson on a bad day, and there's number 19, and that's Johnny Osho O'Mara trying to move up. But it is Ron Lechien, number 4, on the factory Kawasaki in front, and it looks like at this point O'Mara is the only one who can try to reel him in. Moving up now, some of the other riders. There's number 30, Brian Manley out of Placentia, moving up there. Billy the Bullet Frank behind him, number 36. Now Lechien is way out in front. O'Mara running in second spot. But this is the battle for third. And there's Glover trying to get back up into the fray. Number 44, you can see him right there running about 5th spot. Number 44, Glover, coming into our picture. The question is, can Glover come back? There's O'Mara, number 19. And there's number 30, Brian Manley, the young man from Placentia, California. Billy Frank, number 36, behind him, and Glover knocking on the door, number 44. The final year of a multi-year contract for Yamaha, and Glover goes by, and is starting to move up. There's Glover closing now on Manley. Manley on the Suzuki, Privateer Suzuki, Glover in a full-on factory Yamaha. And there's Manley, number 30, but there's the man everybody's watching, Lechien. This guy is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. He gets out in front, and it's whole Katie bar the door. No stopping. Look at him, he's playing now. Taking both feet off the pegs, 30 feet in the air. Glover having more of a problem than he thought. Now Glover is trying to make points for Yamaha. He's got the final year of his contract. He wants to stay with Yamaha. He has never ridden for another brand. We understand he's talking to some European factories like KTM possibly. But at this point, Glover's in the final year of that Yamaha contract, and he goes up on Manley. Now Glover's tough. He's also very intelligent. He will look for a hole, and there's the white flag. 1 lap to go, and Glover is trying to move up past Manley to pick up those points. Manley almost ran by Glover. Now remember, Lechien is way out in front. The battle here is for the battle between Manley and Glover. Manley running in 3rd spot, Glover in 4th. He'd like to move up to 3rd and get into victory circle. Glover flying through the air, and Manley is stymieing him. He's blocking him at every turn when Glover tries to reel him in. The final lap. Lechien has got this one not only in the bank, he's got the money spent. This is the battle for 3rd. O'Mara in 2nd. Now Glover is going to try to reel in Manley and go around him. Glover to the outside. There's Lechien taking the checkered flag. There's O'Mara 2nd. And Manley has held off Glover for 3rd because Glover goes down. Glover's gone down more often than a elevator operator. I don't believe this. And Glover is frustrated. You know he is very, very upset. He doesn't even try to move up. He is mad. Oh! Needs to be Kenny Clark, Yamaha Racing Manager right now. He's not happy at all. And Glover is not happy either. He had a whole shot, got out in front, and Lechien put him down. So Ron Lechien wins heat number 1. O'Mara is 2nd, and flying Brian Manley, watch this kid, is 3rd. Glover will have to ride in semi number 1 to see if he can get into tonight's main event. That's going to be tough. So Ron Lechien comes out on top and advances to the main. Before we get to heat 2, let's go to the field and Larry Myers for an interview with Ron Lechien.
How about it? Winner of heat race number 1, Ron Lechien. An altercation on lap number 1, and I think Brock Glover just mentioned it to you as he pulled off the track.
Yeah, he was saying something about that.
Any comments?
Well, he almost killed me in the first turn. He ran in there. I thought he was going to put me up in the stands, so I figured I'd put him in the stand.
I don't know about the stands, but you put him down in the dirt, that's for sure. $500 goes to the Coors Coolest Move, and man, you were just making some tracks toward that $500.
Yeah, well, Johnson's still coming out there, so I don't know.
It looks like an aerial show.
Yeah, there's some nice jumps out there. I really like the track. It's kind of slick and hard to pass, but I overall like it.
That makes, when it's slick and hard to pass, it makes for tight, tough, excellent racing.
Yeah, that's for sure, Larry.
Good luck to you to Maine.
Thanks a lot.
Ron Lachine, ladies and gentlemen.
Coming up now is heat number 2. And here we go. The gate drops and down that long straightaway they go. It is Holland putting the big red power of that Honda to the ground. Out in front, that's Mike Fisher, factory Kawasaki in second. And whoa, look out. There comes Wardy out of nowhere. Wardy, number 1, is going into second in front of Fisher, his teammate. Now Fisher is on a semi-works Kawasaki ride, but Jeff has got the full-on Kawasaki factory behind him, and there's Holland in front. Now Holland is about as tough to pass as Charlie Manson on a bad day, and Wardy knows that, so he's going to take his time and watch Holland and look for a perfect spot to go by. There's Fisher, you can see him just out of our screen, and there goes Wardy early, and Holland blocks him. George Holland, number 3, got married last year, said nothing's changed. He says, I'm still as happy. He's a farm boy from Northern California, born and bred up there. And here's Wardy on the inside. And Holland says, nope, not yet, buddy. Wardy back to the inside, using those short legs, that short, squat stature, the low center of gravity to get around on the inside. And Holland, about 6 or 7 inches taller than Wardy and built like a football halfback, is blocking Wardy every turn. Holland's very confident. He switched from Suzuki to Honda this year, and a lot of people at Suzuki thought that was good for his career. He kind of burned out with Suzuki. And so Holland is looking good. Wobbling there. That's always a danger when you see him come down and start to wobble, and Wardy is on him like a Krishna on an airport traveler, looking for a place to go by. But Holland's tough, and he's smart also. He's got a lot of racetrack savvy. He's been around for a long time. Been knocking on the door of that 125 class for a number of years. Here's Wardy on the inside again, and there's Holland on the outside again. George Holland in front, factory Honda. Wardy is right on his back tire. Look at this, going up the outside. Look at Ward. He plays that Kawasaki like a Stradivarius, and Holland again, and Wardy goes by, and Holland goes back by. Exciting racing from Tampa Stadium, ladies and gentlemen. Larry Huffman calling the action, and Holland right now is giving Wardy a riding lesson, and look at that back wheel of Wardy wobble around like a stripper in the San Diego night spot. Boy, he's all over the track. It is Holland in front, number 3. And Jeff Ward, number 1 in second, in this near-capacity crowd at Tampa Stadium is on the edge of their seats watching this one. They're getting their money's worth, and so are you. You're seeing some exciting racing. Wardy is keeping the pressure on Holland, and Ward is a smart strategist. He knows racing. He knows how to keep the pressure on. And he's hoping that Holland is going to make a mistake, but so far, George is not obliged. There's Wardy again, but he backs off. Wardy is outweighed by Holland by probably 15 to 20 pounds, and that's really important when you try to get physical with another rider. You go back to the great days of John the Flying Hawaiian DeSoto, who was so strong and used his physical strength to block the other riders. White flag out. It is Holland trying to hold on to this lead, and Wardy wants to take it away from him. Holland, number 3. Honda, Wardy, the defending Supercross national champion, the number 1 plate in second spot, and now Wardy's got to get down to business. He's got to say, okay, here we go. We're going to roll that dice. But Holland is not making it easy for Ward. He goes to the outside. Wardy follows to the outside. George Holland and Jeff Ward, the final lap, ladies and gentlemen, heat number 2 here at Tampa. And everybody is watching the battle for first. Look at the infield people there. Got their eyes on Holland. Here it is, and Holland takes it. A surprise. Wardy did not gamble and did not try to go by him. Holland wins it. Wardy is second, and there is Keith Bowen finishing in third spot. Let's go down to the field, and Larry Meyer.
How about this, George? The best race I ever rode in my life by George Holland. How about it, ladies and gentlemen? Man, I want to tell you, that was some masterful riding. You had one of the best in the world behind you, and every move he made, you managed to cut it off. You were great.
Yeah, Larry, I've been feeling pretty good on the 250 the last couple of weeks, and I felt pretty confident on the line. I told my mechanic I'm going to win this one, and I came out and won it.
George, usually when you have a rider the caliber of Jeff Ward behind you, and he's sticking, that rear wheel, the fender, inside your rear wheel, a rider has a tendency to move over, but man, you just handed it back in spades. What was going through your mind?
Well, I don't mind racing with Jeff because he's a really clean rider. He won't take you out, and I won't take him out. So it was a good, clean race, and I held him off at the end.
Let me point out to you before you go back to the pit area that Jeff had the opportunity. You went really wide right down there in that U-turn, and Jeff had the opportunity to stuff you right on the inside. And you know what he did? He backed off and said, "You've earned it, and go ahead." And I think that's a hell of a tribute to Jeff Ward.
Yeah, Jeff Ward's a good rider, and he's really clean, and I like to race with him.
A tribute to you because you rode one heck of a race, and I want to wish you the best in the main. You do that, and you got yourself a checkered flag there.
Thanks, Larry.
George Holland, ladies and gentlemen, Team Honda, Kermit, California.
And the gate drops, and here we go with heat number 3 from Tampa Stadium. Now, Johnson shouldn't have problems in this race, but he's right there in the middle of the pack, and it's Kehoe, number 9, in the lead. There's Johnson now trying to work the outside. It is Johnson in... Whoa, he's trouble! I started to say Johnson running about in third spot. He's in trouble and down and drops back. Now, remember, the AMA rules are the rider must finish in the top 3 here at Tampa Stadium if he is to move up to directly to the main event. Otherwise, he's got to ride a semi. And Johnson doesn't want to do that. It's hot here in Tampa. And there is number 9, Eric Kehoe, out in front. And that looks like Matasevic in second spot. And Matasevic goes down. Holy Toledo, they felt that in Japan. Number 9, check that, number 9, Kehoe is out in front. And Matasevic is down for the count, trying to get back up and get into the fray. And there is Johnson, another rider trying to get in the fray, and Johnson is way back in mid-pack. This is unlike Ricky Johnson. The bad boy is not riding well here at Tampa. There's Johnson, and his landings don't look good either. I can't believe this. Leask is moving up, but Johnson is not. There's Leask in front of him. Now Johnson's starting to move up. Eric Kehoe still in front. Now running second is number 21, Doug Dubach. And Johnson is moving up into fourth spot now and trying to close on Jeff Leask, his teammate, number 7. The crowd is watching Johnson. He is all alone. Believe me, this guy is all alone. Leask, number 7, in front of him. And that's where Johnson wants to be. He's got to move into the top 3. Larry Brooks, number 14, trying to get around Leask. Check that. Leask trying to get around Brooks. He's gone in front of Leask. Johnson is back in 5th spot at this point. Kehoe in front. Dubach, number 21, in 2nd spot. Then a battle for 3rd between Brooks and Leask, and then Johnson behind him. And I don't think in all the years I've called Supercross, I've not seen Johnson this far back in a heat race. In a main event, yes, but never in a heat race. And this is a surprise. They're lapping other riders. That is Larry Brooks. Number 14 is being passed by Johnson. Nope, yes. Johnson's got it. Johnson's got 4th. And Brooks takes it back. They're in the traffic now. Remember, Leask, number 7, is running in 3rd. Now Johnson's going for 4th. But no, Brooks slams the screen door right in his puss. And Johnson is sitting in 5th. That's the flag to move over the riders who are being lapped. Johnson landing and wobbling. You know there's something wrong. He's either tired or frustrated when he lands like that and wobbles all over the place like a drunken sailor on a 3-day pass. And Johnson is not putting the pressure on Brooks. I can't understand this. Brooks is not as far along as Johnson, yet he is frustrating the national champion. Johnson trying again now, looking for a hole, trying to get around Brooks, goes to the inside. And nope, Brooks holds him off. Brooks is riding a beautiful race, back and forth, blocking Johnson at every turn. And they're into traffic, and Brooks is using that traffic to great effectiveness to block Johnson, and Johnson is getting frustrated. Nobody wants to win more than Ricky Johnson, but I can't believe it here in Tampa. In this heat, he can't get by Brooks. Now remember, your leader is number 9, Eric Kehoe. Factory Suzuki way out in front. Dubach, number 21, is 2nd. And here is the battle for 4th spot because Leask is running in 3rd. That's right, Leask, number 7, is 3rd. Then in 4th spot is Brooks, number 14, Kawasaki Privateer. A little bit of factory support from Roy Turner at Kawasaki. And Johnson, the hottest rider in the world today, is riding like the coldest rider in the world. There they go into traffic. Now getting close. And no, Brooks cuts him off again. And Johnson comes back. Trying to use traffic to block. That's Keith Bowen trying to move up there. But it is Johnson, frustrated, cannot move up. Cannot seem to move up. The battle is for 4th spot. Johnson has got to pass this kid, number 14, Larry Brooks, and then pass another rider, number 7, Lease, if he's going to transfer. And I'm telling you, history will be made and myths will be destroyed if Johnson doesn't move into at least 3rd to transfer. He's going to have to ride a semi. Brooks is playing with Johnson. I don't believe this. Now they're closing on Lease. Lease is in 3rd spot. That's what Johnson's got to get. But here's your leader, number 9, Eric Kehoe. Hotter than a $2 pistol. Johnson rams Brooks, and he goes by. Demolition Derby, the checkered flag falls, and Johnson is in 4th spot. He doesn't transfer. Heat number 3, official results. Eric Kehoe, beautiful victory. Duboc 2nd, Jeff Lease 3rd. The big story, Ricky Johnson unable to finish in the top 3. He's got to go to semi number 2. Let's go to the field and Larry Meyer.
Thank you very much, Larry Huffman. With me, winner of heat race number 3 and the 1987 US 125 Grand Prix. Also, winner of both 125 Outdoor Nationals held so far this year. Would you welcome, please, Granada Hills, California, riding for Team Suzuki, Eric Kehoe. Eric, you know what's kind of neat about this? Yourself and George Holland have been, for the past several years, damn near inseparable. Seems like where one of you were, the other one was. Now, George is gone. He's with Team Honda. However, tonight, you're back together again in the winner's circle.
Yeah, along the time of mini bikes, we were growing up. We were always racing it together. We know what each other can do, and he's riding good. I feel like I'm riding good, so we're both going to be out there dicing.
The impressive thing, I think, to those of us that go to a lot of motocross events is the fact that yourself and George, who have been for the past several years primarily 125 riders, are really making an impact in this 250cc class.
Yeah, I feel really good, Larry. I'm riding my 250 a lot better. I've been doing a lot of practicing on it, and I'm also concentrating on the 125 Nationals. So I just feel like I'm out there to get good points and do some racing.
You get a hole shot like you did out here, in the heat race, and you get that same hole shot in the main event, and you got a crack at that checkered flag, partner.
Yeah, I feel like I'm riding pretty smooth, so if I get a good start, I'll be up there.
Good luck.
Thanks, Larry.
Eric Kehoe, ladies and gentlemen, your winner of heat race number 3, and we will go upstairs to Larry Huffman, the voice of Supercross.
Thank you, Larry Myers. Good interview. We'll be back with more racing from Tampa Stadium right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Tampa Supercross, and we are set for semi-heat number 1, the 250 class. Now, the top 6 finishers advance to the main event. The riders to look for in this heat, well, number 44, Brock Glover, that's a surprise. Number 14, Larry Brooks, and number 17, Canadian champion Ross Rollerball Peterson. And if he doesn't do well, we're going to call him Roller Skate Peterson. The gate drops, and there they go, and it is Glover. Look at this guy. He kicks in the afterburner, and it's goodbye, mama. Brock Glover, number 44, and those bright pink leathers out in front. 14, Brooks running in 2nd spot. And it looks like Peterson moving up. Let's check as they come around. It is Glover definitely in front, and that's Brooks in 2nd spot. And Brock Glover. Now remember, the top 6 go to the main event. And it is Glover right now with Brooks, number 14, and that's Peterson. Yes, number 17, Ross Rollerball Peterson, Canadian national champion in 3rd spot. The green flag, and look at these guys go. That means that 1 lap is completed, and we're set to go all the way to the end. No problem. And there is Larry Brooks from Southern California. Went to Japan with that boy in the 2nd Super Bowl of motocross in Japan back in 1983. He was a 16-year-old kid. Boy, he's hot. He tore him up in Japan. Number 14, Glover in front. 44, Glover in front. 14 in 2nd spot is Larry Brooks. There's Brooks right there. And in 3rd spot, right out of our camera, and good camera work, I might point out, is number 17, Ross Rollerball Peterson. We talked earlier about this guy, Glover, the youngest national champion in AMA racing history, any type of motorcycle racing. 17 years old, his first 125 national championship. He was a high school senior and honor student in El Cajon, California, had special permission from the principal to race on weekends. He got up early on Friday and came back late on Monday. And he is in the twilight of his great career. And there's number 14, Brooks, who is on the upside of his career, moving up and flying through the air there. He has factory support from Kawasaki. Glover, the final year in his multi-year contract for Yamaha. He's like 27 years old, 26, 27. He has never raced for another factory other than Yamaha. And let me tell you that Glover would like to do well here at Tampa. Look at now, Peterson starting to reel in number 14, Brooks. Brooks riding the rear wheel. That's how you got to go over those whoops. You watch these guys. It's a price of admission just to watch them ride the whoops. Lapping slower riders, number 565. There is number 14 in 2nd spot, Brooks. Now remember, Glover, number 44, is way out in front. The battle is for second spot between Brooks and Peterson, but it is the top 6 who go to the main event in the semi. Glover on the Rapid YZ 250. He first wore those pink leathers at the LA Coliseum a few years ago, and he said he had to win his race because everybody would really laugh at him if he wore pink leathers and didn't do well, and thank goodness he did do well. Yamaha has had their ups and downs, and mostly downs lately. They've not won a national championship in motocross or supercross for a number of years. Back in the early days when Hanna was riding the Yamaha and they just dominated, everybody was winning on a Yamaha. Now Glover's trying to break that spell and long list of defeats and win here tonight at Tampa. Big crowd here, and they like seeing racing, I'll tell you. Glover in front, Brooks in second, number 14. Brooks from the LA area in Southern California. Glover from El Cajon, the same place that Johnson and Lachine come from. It must be something in the water that gives him so much speed. There's Brooks now. In third spot is Peterson, the Canadian from Medicine Hat, Alberta, and they're going through traffic so you can't see him. He's back a couple of riders, but he is running third. Glover in front, number 44. Semi-action number 1. Larry Huffman calling the action here in a rather uneventful semi. Glover got out in front. He's kind of running away with it right now. Fourth spot is Billy the Bullet Frank, number 36, and back in fifth is Fred Andrews, number 18. And this young man, number 14, seems content to stay in second spot. I don't blame Brooks. He's about a half a foot shorter than Glover, and Glover can get real physical when he wants to. And if you remember earlier in the heat race, Glover went on his head a couple times, and he's not real happy about that. And you don't want to, it's like messing with a bear. You don't want to mess with Glover when he's not real happy, and Brooks knows that. Rock Glover, the golden boy of Supercross, we call him. He was in a movie called Winners Take All last year, had a dramatic part, and there's the checkered flag, and Glover wins it. Not a whole lot of excitement, but he did it. And Brooks will take second. And Peterson third. Fourth spot, Billy Frank. Fifth, Fred Andrews. And that wraps up semi number 2. So Glover goes to the main event. Brooks is second. He'll go. Peterson also makes his way to the main. Billy Frank and Fred Andrews rounding out the top 5. Semi-action number 1 here. A rather uneventful race. I don't know if Glover would agree with that, but he's happy any way at all to get to the main event. He'll come in any way he can, the back door. And here's semi number 2. Ricky Johnson, number 2, in a rare appearance as he makes his final bid for a spot in tonight's main event. The other riders to look for, Keith Bowen and young Jeff Stanton, both needing finishes in the top 6 to go to the main, and here goes the gate, and they're off. And it is Johnson serving notice early. He ain't going to mess around, folks. He is out in front, number 2, Ricky Bad Boy Johnson. And let's check second spot. It looks like a Kawasaki coming up in second. And I believe that is Matasevich, the Mad Russian, Jeff Chicken Matasevich, out in front, second spot rather, chasing the leader, number 2, Ricky Johnson. Now Matasevich has just been moved up by Kawasaki into the 250 Supercross ranks. He is an expert 125 rider. They don't get no better than Matasevich. But Roy Turner, the Kawasaki racing manager, is grooming this kid for 250 action next year. So he's throwing him into the fray with guys like Johnson so Matasevich can pick up that needed experience. He's only like 17, 18 years old. He's a kid, wet behind the ears, but he is tough. Number 201, Jeff Matasevich. Matasevich running in second spot. Number 201. Johnson in front, way out in front, and I mean way out in front, ladies and gentlemen. Keith Bowen and Jeff Stanton trying to move up behind Matasevich. But it is Johnson's race so far with Matasevich trying to hold on to second spot. Jeff Matasevich, 201. They call him the chicken, running in second spot. There are the mechanics giving the pit signals to the riders. We're not showing you Johnson. Well, okay, here's a couple shots of Johnson. He's starting. When Johnson feels good, he will start showboating for the crowd. And the louder the crowd responds, the crazier the Ricky Johnson gets. Might have some shots of Johnson doing some bizarre stuff off the jumps. But right now, it's Matasevich in second. He is Jeff Ward's full-fledged teammate in that Kawasaki factory team lineup. And he is getting the very, very needed experience. There he lands kind of hard and wobbles a little bit. But he is getting that experience he needs to battle with the big boys. And this is the guy, one of the guys that Kawasaki figures is coming up in the ranks and is going to be giving Johnson a run for his money in a year or two. So he's getting some experience in this semi-action. You remember the top 6 go to the main event. Johnson now getting a little sideways. Crowd loves him. Ricky can do more with a motorcycle than just about anybody else in the world right now. He can make that thing sing. A warm night here in Tampa. Bill West, the promoter. The Tampa Supercross, a good big crowd here. Not announced yet, but there are a lot of people watching the action. You got your own front row seat right here. Larry Huffman calling the action for you. You can always tell when a rider's out in front when nobody is in frame behind him. You can't see anybody running in third spot. It is Matasevic in second. And Johnson way, way, way out in front. Ah! He gives a high side to the crowd. You see that? Johnson, that's called a pancake. He takes his left hand off the bars and gives a thumbs up side to the crowd, and the crowd responds. They love this guy here in Tampa. Johnson is having fun. He loves the spotlight, and he is having a ball. Here's second spot, Jeff Chicken Matasevic. Great story on how he got that name. Roy Turner doesn't like me to talk about it, so I won't talk about it now, but Matasevic has got a bizarre nickname. Keith Bowen, Jeff Stanton trying to move up also, but nobody is putting pressure on Matasevic at this point. There's Ricky getting more radical. When you got a dull race, you can always count on Johnson to spice things up. He'll get radical, more and more radical. And the crowd absolutely loves him. Johnson is using this time also to check the track out because he's got to come out in the main event in a few minutes and ride that main event. So he's checking things out, seeing how the track is holding up. John Savitsky, the man who built it, does an excellent job of building the track. And it's tough using this Florida dirt, especially on a hot day. You've got to be real careful about how you... Whoa! Matasevic lands hard, shakes up his ancestors, and wobbles. You've got to be careful just to get enough dirt on that track to keep it moist, but not too moist, and you can't let it dry out. And it's been very warm here in Tampa, let me tell you. Johnson going a little wild too, again, gets crazy, now turns and takes both hands off the bars and gives the people a high sign. The V for victory sign, I believe. Don't try this yourself if you're riding, unless you're really crazy. Because Ricky is one of the best in the world, and he can get away with it. Heading for the checkered flag, Ricky Johnson, semi number 2. And we are waiting for the checkered flag to come out, and there it is! Both hands off the bars, and Ricky wins it. So Ricky Johnson avenges that terrible showing in his heat race earlier by blowing him away in the semi. He goes to the main, along with Jeff Matasevic, Keith Bowen, and Jeff Stanton, some of the riders to watch for in the main. We'll be back with more racing right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Doug the Wheelie King Democus. Tonight he's going to try something that has never before been attempted. You're not going to believe this. Get ready for some excitement. Doug is going to attempt to ride his 3-wheeled ATV on a high-wire apparatus 20 feet above the ground. That's Gary Bailey he's talking to, Democus, right now down on the field. Gary Bailey, the father of David Bailey. Now, Doug Democus is out of Niles, Michigan. He's a former motocrosser who discovered he could wheelie better than anybody else in the world. He's in the Guinness World Book of Records. He's been on the television show That's Incredible. And he's been featured in the National Enquirer from his stunts. Here he goes. He's going to try to wheelie 20 feet above the ground. Now, he just finished building the apparatus 2 days before he is appearing here in Tampa, just 2 days ago. He has never even practiced it, and I'm serious. I've spent some time with Doug. He has never practiced this stunt before. You are seeing it for the first time in the world. And he looks like he might be having a few problems. Let's check things out. Everything has got to be set right. The exact tire pressure on those rear tires, very crucial. He's got to drop the pressure way down to get them on the lines, on the high wire. There are 2 wires set exactly the width apart of the wheels of that ATV. Doug Democus, he is the best in the world at wheeling. He's wheelied all over the world, including the world's highest wheelie around the Empire State Building. Believe it or not, he did that. Okay, set now. Look at the large orange hooks. Those are tensioners to tense the wire down, to tighten it up, to make it just exactly right. Okay, here we go. Again, he has never done this before. Now, you hear this and you think that's hype. It is not hype. I'm telling you for real, he has never done this stunt before. 20 feet above the ground. And Demokis told me earlier he was a little bit nervous about this stunt. Here he goes. Standing on the back of the ATV. Look at this. Look at the concentration. There is nothing between that front wheel and the ground but about 20 feet of Florida air, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Demokis going higher and higher and higher. And this is difficult. Look at this. Look at this. There's a high camera eye view of Demokis. 20 feet. He did the welding on those giant supports himself. He's a good machinist, Demokis is, and knows a lot about welding. He's built a lot of his own equipment. Okay, getting higher and higher and higher. Look at there. There's from the ground. How'd you like to be riding a three-wheeler that high? He has made it to the top. Look at the crowd. Look at him watching. The flash bulbs go off. Now, on the top, balancing. The incredible sense of balance this young man has. 31 years old, living in Southern California now. And he stops to balance the ATV atop 20 feet in the air. I don't believe this. Look at this.
Back and forth. Rocking back and forth.
Now, making his way across and then down. Look at this. The crowd seeing it for the first time anywhere in the world. One mistake, if those rear tires move over 4 inches, he is falling with an ATV on top of him. All the way to the ground. Now, down the other side. Unbelievable. Doug Demokis does it. The crowd loves it. Look at this. They can't believe it. People are standing and cheering. The best in the world at wheeling, ladies and gentlemen. Doug Demokis, the wheelie king from Niles, Michigan. We'll be back with the main event from Tampa Stadium. I don't see how I can get more exciting than this, but you're going to see some excitement with Ricky Johnson and Glover and all the rest right after this. Thank you, Doug. Here we go, ready for the main. They lean forward, look at the crowd, and here we go. The gate drops, and they are off, and it is going to be Lachine. Looks like Lachine on the Kawasaki taking the lead. No, it is Wardy. It was a Kawasaki. We thought it was Lachine, but it's Jeff Ward in front. One rider down. We didn't get his number. But Jeff Ward, who's done so well this year in Supercross at Houston, is going to try to win it here at Tampa. And it looks like Matasevich, his teammate, coming up in second. That's Matasevich. Then number 9, that is Keogh in third. The green flag out, the race is on. Jeff Ward in front, Matasevich serving as a buffer in second spot. And then number 2, Johnson is broken to third. And Johnson is riding like a man possessed in third. And he's going to try to reel in Matasevich. There's Wardy, and there's Matasevich in midair also. And Johnson coming up behind him. Now Matasevich, if he can, will try to block Johnson for Wardy, but I don't know if Matasevich has got the experience. He doesn't. We found that out real fast. Johnson goes by him like a snake oil salesman of the night. So it is Wardy in front, Johnson running second. The great battle in Supercross this year. And for the past couple of years, nobody else has been in these guys' league. Nobody's even been close. A couple of flashes of brilliance, but it is Ricky Johnson in second spot trying to reel in Jeff Ward. Number 2, Ricky Johnson trying to reel in Wardy. Ward in front. Johnson in second spot. There's Jeff. Notice Jeff is not showboating at all. He is not flamboyant. He is getting it on, putting the motorcycle to the ground, the power to the rear wheel, and staying out in front, trying to stay away from Johnson. Wardy knows, he's already been signaled by his mechanic, that Johnson is closing on him. So Jeff Ward in front, Ricky Johnson running in second spot, Matasevich running in third. And now Ricky Johnson has got to do what he does better than anybody else in the world. Look at Johnson. He's wobbling. You can tell he's riding 110%, making a few mistakes, but still moving up on Wardy. One of the most exciting things to watch in racing is Johnson getting into second place or third place and moving up. The crowd responds. They love Johnson, and that will encourage Johnson to go for it. Again, Wardy, no wasted motion, no showboating at all. He knows he's got a job to do. He's got to stay in front of Johnson. He doesn't have time to play, and Johnson will not play either. Make no mistake about that. Johnson is dead serious. He's as serious as a heart attack. going after Wardy. Matasevic trying to hold on to third. Johnson bouncing over those whoops. There's Wardy. Let's see. There's Johnson right behind. Look at Johnson go through the turn a little bit faster than Wardy. He's picking up 10 feet here, 5 feet there, and he's starting to make life interesting for Jeff Ward, to say the least. This is the main event, ladies and gentlemen. Larry Huffman calling the action. You got your own ringside seat, watching Ricky Johnson trying to reel in this young man from Mission Viejo. Johnson in second, number 2. Wardy, number 1 in front. Wardy's mom has a Ferrari with on the license plate Wardy's mom, if you can believe that. Very attractive. Bondage. Wardy's down, and Johnson takes the lead. Wardy handed that lead to Johnson on a silver platter, and Wardy is trying to move up on him. Let's see if we got a look at Wardy going down. He's trying to reel in Johnson. He's keeping the pressure on Johnson. Yes, here's a look. Instant replay. Wardy, let's see what happened. Comes up with the jump, moves his tailbone back over the rear wheel. It's a tabletop jump. Shouldn't have any problem. Not a difficult jump. Lands hard. He lands in the sand, and the front wheel washes out. And down goes Jeff Ward, hard. And here comes Johnson to take over the lead. Well, that's a lucky break for Johnson, and he needs one tonight here in Tampa. Ward keeps the engine running. Notice the presence of mind. Does not kill the engine. He doesn't have to waste time starting it. He keeps the throttle on, pulls the clutch in when he goes down, and he is right back on the back tire of Ricky Johnson. So, the table has turned, and Johnson is in front with Wardy second. Over the triples. Actually, 2.5, actually, and then another big jump, a couple of big jumps. But it is Ricky Johnson, number 2 in front, with Jeff Ward now number 1 in second. Now this is where Johnson has prevailed, because Wardy will try to reel him in and then back off and seemingly lose interest. The only rider in the world who can keep Johnson in sight is Wardy when Wardy wants to. But Wardy is riding very strong now. And he's down again! I can't believe this. Ricky Johnson didn't even touch him. He wasn't within 3 feet of him, and Wardy went down. And Johnson's looking around saying, what happened? Let's take a look back and see if we can figure out what happened. If you're watching us to get hints on how to ride, we're showing you how not to crash, or how to crash, rather. Here's Wardy. That's Johnson on the right. Gets a little bit wild. The suspension working extremely strong. Now here goes to the inside. A little different camera angle now on Wardy. And if he can get that power to the ground, he's going to pass Johnson. But nope, the rear wheel just simply slides out. This hard North Florida clay-type substance takes its toll again, and Wardy is down. Hits the deck faster than a Mike Tyson opponent. And Wardy, look at that, keeps the engine running, but it gives Johnson a tremendous lead. There's Keogh running in front of Wardy now, and Fred Andrews, number 18, also in the fray. Looks like Fred Andrews here is number 36. I stand corrected. I said 18, but it is Keogh now trying to reel in Andrews, and they're way behind Johnson, who's way out in front. And also Matasevic is up there too. Don't count out Matasevic, running around about the 4th spot. He's battling Lachine, actually. But it is Ricky Johnson in front, Keogh trying to move up. I believe that is 36 Billy Frank there in front. Fred Andrews is number 18. And Lachine is trying to reel in Billy the Bullet Frank. And there's Wardy right behind a lucky pass. Did you see that? Is there a Tampa policeman in the house? Because he just committed grand larceny. Wardy went around Keogh on the outside. Keogh looked around on the inside, and Wardy went by and thumbed his nose at him as he went by. Unbelievable. Wardy is coming back. He's passing Frank. He's trying to go for second. I believe he's got it, too. Let's check. Yes, it is Johnson in front, Wardy in second. Boy, and Wardy has suddenly come alive. The battle of the Titans. Now, Holland, I don't know if he's waving Wardy by or not. I think he might be doing that. He's going to let Wardy go by. Yes, Holland is going to let Wardy go by. And that's the way it should be. Meanwhile, Ricky Johnson is hotter than a $2 pistol out here in Tampa on a beautiful Saturday night. Is, like we say, playing that motorcycle like a Stradivarius violin. Look at this guy go. He is out in front. Now, the question is, if Johnson feels secure enough over this young man, will he start showboating? Another rider about to be lapped by Wardy. Johnson setting a blistering pace here, has not made any mistakes yet. Move over flag comes out. Wardy in second spot, Johnson in front. Lapping riders at will. The main event here at Tampa. Larry Huffman calling the action. A rather uneventful race since Wardy fell twice. Here's Johnson through the whoops, heading for the checkered flag. Can he hold on? How close is Wardy? Well, Wardy's moving up, but not really that much of a factor yet. Of course, there's traffic, and traffic can always be a problem. There's Frank being lapped by Johnson. Frank was running up there in the top 5 earlier. Something happened. Something went wrong. There's Ricky. Where's Wardy? These are all lapped riders we're watching. Johnson has gone across the finish line jump. There's Wardy in second spot and quite a ways back, too. In the waning moments of this 250 Supercross Championship, the event here at Tampa Stadium, the home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I asked one of the security people here who works at the stadium earlier, is this where the Tampa Bay Bucs play? And he says, that's debatable. He says, they don't do well here, but they play, I guess. And right now, Ricky Johnson does do well. He is on the gas through the whoops. But notice that Johnson is not showboating at all. He's not playing around at all. Riding a very smart race, very conservative race, now that he's out in front. And here's Wardy in second, but back quite a ways. Several turns back from Johnson is Wardy. And Jeff Ward, as Roy Turner told us earlier, knows he's got to win tonight to be in contention for that championship, to hold on that plate for another year, but it doesn't look like he's going to win unless something really goes wrong with Johnson. Johnson again, lapping riders, and that's always dangerous. You don't know what the guy in front of you is going to do. Put out that purple flag, and the rider doesn't see it, and he can move over, and suddenly your race is over. Whoop! Johnson gets in the whoops, into the sand, and wobbles a little bit. Might be getting tired. He's had to ride the semi, remember. Keep that in mind. He's unaccustomed to that. White flag, 1 lap to go, and Johnson breathes a sigh of relief. Let's watch and see if we can see Wardy. Now he's way, way back. Nope, still no sign of Ward. There he is. He's got about 5 lap riders between him and Johnson, and Jeff knows right now the only way he's going to stop Ricky Johnson is with a gun. So Wardy will pick up second place tonight if it goes another lap like this. Johnson will take the victory. Let's see if Johnson gets a little crazy over the jumps here in the final lap. There's Wardy, number 1. Johnson is way out in front, number 2. And there it is. Nope, 1 hand off the bars, and Ricky wins it.